Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead and some time jumps that are going to be coming on Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. I want to talk about these time jumps that they did confirm. We're going to get into what Gimple said, but he did confirm multiple time jumps in Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. And I want to talk about when they could happen, how they could happen, and how they can relate to the story for Season 6, because I think that's pretty important. And then also with the big crossover with The Walking Dead, I think everyone is sort of keeping an eye out for that. I know that a lot of people would think merging the two shows would be awesome. I know I would love to see that happen in the future, and the time jumps make Fear the Walking Dead closer in terms of timeline to The Walking Dead, which could make that merger actually happen in the future. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, and how that could work out for The Walking Dead in the future. But yeah, with all that being said, a general spoiler warning in case you aren't caught up with the two shows. But other than that, let's get into it. So yeah, Gimple did confirm that multiple time jumps will be happening in Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. Now, he confirmed this back at Comic-Con. I just didn't make a video about it. But here is the tweet from The Walking Dead's Twitter, July 24th. That is when, this Comic-Con happened. It said Scott Gimple confirms multiple time jumps for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. The important thing, or the interesting thing, is the multiple time jumps, because it looks like it's going to get closer and closer to that Walking Dead timeline. Now, I think time jumps on its own is interesting for the show, not just because of The Walking Dead, because if you look at the season and what's happening in this season, it looks like all the characters are spread apart, which I think makes these time jumps even more crucial, because it's going to show how long they've been apart from one another, which now I'm kind of thinking it's not just going to be they're going to be away for a couple episodes and then they're going to get back together, because they did say this season is going to be like an anthology. So each episode, and I know sometimes I know fans, including myself, we like a lot of the characters together on the show, but I think what they have planned here, based on what they're saying, I think it could work, especially since they've never before said it's an anthology. So it isn't like a thing in the past where they just separate all the characters. This is actually like serving a purpose. So yeah, basically each episode, like each character or each group of characters is gonna have their own interesting story, which I'm excited for. But we saw what happened at the end of Season 5. Virginia split up the community, or the group, and took them to different communities, which on its own says a lot about Virginia and how powerful she is and how many communities she has. Or maybe, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Saviors with the Outpost. So it's sort of like that, instead of what Negan was doing was just making them work on their own for Negan, and then Negan will come collect stuff at the end of the week or whatever. She's actually making them physically work for her. And put them all in these separate communities and stuff like that. Some of them aren't even in communities. Like I remember some of them were at that oil field, so some of them are doing, like, it looks like they're doing like all the dirty work for her, But anyways, with the community all split up, and the characters all split up, I should say, these time jumps make it a lot more interesting, because whenever they get together, and who knows what episode that's going to be. Is it going to be the mid-season finale, or are they going to push it a little bit further into the second half? Whenever it's going to be, it's going to make that reunion a lot more interesting and stronger, because they could have been apart for months, years, I don't know. I don't know if they would want to do years, because that would seem like very long. Maybe 1 or 2 years, because the characters wouldn't change that much. But still, it's going to be tough to earn that. They have to really show that. So we'll see what happens. I think if they want to do like 1 or 2 years, it'll probably have to go on till like the second half. But definitely a couple months. But the thing they're saying here is multiple time jumps. So I'm assuming when they say a time jump, it's going to be months, right? And they wouldn't say a time jump's going to happen if 2 weeks are going to pass. That's not a time jump, No one really cares. Like, not that much is going to happen in 2 weeks. When they say time jumps, they usually mean long periods of times. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, like, even if they do multiple time jumps, and when they say multiple, I'm assuming like probably 3 or 4. which is why I think that's possible from by the end of season 6 or something. Maybe it's been like years since they've been split up or something like that. It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. I mean, time jumps could really mean anything. I mean, we've had time jumps in The Walking Dead that's been like one season, from the season 10 finale to the or season 9 finale to the season 10 premiere. That went from like winter because it was snowing to like spring. So it could be like that. Or it could be, a Rick Grimes situation where Rick Grimes leaves and then the next episode is literally 6 years later, which is absolutely insane. So it could really be anything, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably going to be multiple time jumps that consist of months. So by the end of it, it's probably going to be like maybe a year or two have passed. But that's what I'm thinking. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. And then at the end when they get together, I think a time jump will do the show some good as well because... remember when everyone was sort of separated after Negan came on The Walking Dead? They were at the hilltop and Daryl was the saviors, the sanctuary, and they never really saw each other after that first meeting with Negan. But when they all came back together, it felt awesome. So I do think it'll be pretty cool seeing that because the characters have been together for the most part on Fear the Walking Dead, which is great. So I think something like this isn't bad at all. And then the time jumps will just add to that in a good way, in my opinion, because it will just show like how long they've been apart. But now I want to talk a little bit about crossovers and the merger, because I know the merger is still something that people are keeping an eye out for and think that idea is super awesome, me included. I think that idea would be epic if it happens, especially I think it could work. I really do think it could work because since the universes are connected now and they are kind of the same story. I mean, here's the thing with The Walking Dead. I think it's a character. It's definitely like the characters are the main thing on that show because we know the story, how it's gonna go. Both shows in a way have the same story with the survivors surviving and just meeting human villains, right? So the characters are the most important part. So that's why I think a merger could happen. Yes, there are, I think The Walking Dead, it is changing in a way, when they're exploring the cure and all these little communities and the story is becoming more important now. You could say the story is becoming more important than the characters for sure. But the point is, you can see both shows, them dealing with human villains and now being part of the same community or the same universe. I think it could work out. I think they can make it work where they combine the shows, combine the characters, and move forward with one story. I don't think anyone would really be upset about that. In order for that to happen, they would have to cancel one of the shows. I would assume Fear the Walking Dead because The Walking Dead is already on season 11. But let me know what you think about that. Would you prefer them to be their own separate stories for more stories for The Walking Dead, or would you prefer them to be combined? Either way, I will watch it, and I could definitely see the argument about being separate is better because, again, that'll be more stories for The Walking Dead, and that could work as well. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. I mean, I think eventually I would like to see a merger. I think when Morgan came over to Fear the Walking Dead and told him about Alexandria and them going over there, that kind of set it up. But obviously they're going to be running into things along the way, which is going to hold it up. But I do think eventually I would like to see some of the Fear characters meeting some of the Walking Dead characters. Now, it is tricky because Fear the Walking Dead is still, behind The Walking Dead. That 6-year time jump The Walking Dead did really made it difficult for them to combine the shows. I mean, when Morgan left, that was already a big time jump for the Fear the Walking Dead. After when Morgan left from season 8 finale, he went to Fear the Walking Dead. That itself was a big time jump for Fear the Walking Dead. But then The Walking Dead did like a 6-year time jump, and they also did like they did two time jumps from the Pikes episode to the next episode. It was like a couple months, and then from the Snow episode to the next episode, which was the season 10 premiere, that was also a couple months. So I would probably say since Morgan has left, or since Rick has left, whatever, it's probably been like, I would say 7 years, right? Now, I'm pretty sure Fear the Walking Dead did do more time jumps when Morgan was there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the exact time jumps, but I would say probably since Morgan has been there, it's probably been like a year or so. I mean, we don't even have to really calculate it because The Walking Dead is still like way ahead of Fear the Walking Dead, which is gonna make it difficult for them to combine the shows anytime soon. But now I wanted to talk about, and I think that's why people stopped talking about it more. I remember when Morgan first crossed over, everyone was talking about it, but because of that 6-year time jump, it sort of seemed like, very far away. But now I want to talk a little bit about it again because of these time jumps that are coming on Fear the Walking Dead season 6. So I think eventually it's gonna happen. And after this season of Fear the Walking Dead, they're gonna be even closer to the Walking Dead. And I think eventually it is gonna happen. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I believe right now the Walking Dead is, I would probably say, like maybe 5-6 years ahead of Fear the Walking Dead, so they still got quite a ways to go. But I think because Morgan brought it up, I think it'll eventually happen, because what's the point of bringing it up if they never go to it, right? I feel like that's like the end game for Fear the Walking Dead, because that's where they're headed, right? I mean, I know they want to help people and everything, but I'm sure everyone is curious about what's going on. So, and I mean, I would be so shocked if Morgan never goes back to, or not, maybe not Morgan not goes back to the Walking Dead, but like I would be shocked if the characters don't eventually meet again, But who knows? Maybe this is Morgan's last episode. I mean, we saw what happened with the season 5 finale. Maybe Morgan doesn't make it there, but everyone else does, and Morgan saves them. That could happen. But I think eventually the two characters, or the two shows and the characters, will meet. Let me know what you guys think about that. But as far as this video goes, I am gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Again, let me know all your thoughts and opinions and theories in the comments down below about the two shows and everything you're gonna combine. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, rating, and for more Walking Dead videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, everybody. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon.